Hi guys, welcome to my video on how I went about building this studio space. There was a fair bit of help from sort of family, especially my dad, who's worked in the construction industry for a long time now as an electrician. Yeah, wouldn't have been able to do it without dad, so thanks dad. The situation was I moved into my first house with my girlfriend. It was a smaller property, so we didn't have enough space for all of this stuff. Guitars and amps and speakers and record players and all kinds of stuff. I didn't want to sell any of it or move it on, so ended up wanting to build a studio space. So the garage that we had, we essentially split it. 2/3 is now studio, 1/3, the front third by the door, is now just sort of like a utility space for storage, like bins and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna go through how I went about building the space. Essentially, it's a box within a box design. So you've got the external structure of the garage, and then you've just got like a stud walled frame. The floor is elevated, so there's like a cross lattice floor that we built. The stud walling is separated from the exterior walls. Theory is that you're not going to transfer the noise into any other material around you, so you can make it a bit more soundproof. Now the walls on one side got double skimmed with that stud framing, so that did eat into the room by, probably 1.5 feet maybe, just because obviously you've got the timber, the space, and then the timber again. I'll put up some pictures as we go through so you can see exactly how each phase sort of went along. So firstly, we went about building the sort of side walls. So we did the initial partition wall, which is the one that you can see behind me, and then we did the 2 walls going backwards towards the main door and where the window is. Built those first, and then boxed out where the window is going to be. Got that sort of frame in place, and then we built the floor. We built the floor before doing the second skim on that wall and the second skim on that wall, so then we can put the interior walls of that side and that side on the lattice floor. Again, just to isolate the vibrations from going out that way or out that way. I'm not so worried about it going out the back or to the sides, because they're sort of our space, whereas out the front it'd leak onto the road and then it could go into our neighbours. We can barely ever hear it in there. It has to get pretty loud in here for me to hear it. So each void in between in the stud wall framing got filled with some rock wool insulation foam. So it was the sound specific insulation foam that they do, and that did instantly knock the noise off straight away. It makes it super quiet in the studio, and leakage outside is really good. Once I put the foam in, I plugged whatever holes I could plug with that foam, and if there was anything that was a bit too small or any sort of joints that were going to be leaving air to get out, there's sort of air gaps for the sound to travel through, I just used some expanding foam into those little cracks and holes and stuff just to fill those out. Same with the ceiling. I just got some like polythene sheets, again the same rock wool stuff. It will block out the noise as well as insulate it thermally a bit as well. It's designed mainly for noise, but it will do a good job thermally. Yeah, just got some polythene sheet, put the block in, and then stapled around that so it just holds it in. So the floor was a cross lattice structure, so it separated it up off the concrete, so vibration can't really transfer down. In between all of those crosses, those sort of voids again in the structure, that was all filled with insulation, just to make it super dead and super hard for the noise to travel between each material. That's how you're going to achieve a really well soundproof space. So after the floor was laid, we then went on to doing the plasterboarding. Now, in order for us to carry on doing all this work, we had to leave a gap at the front where we could pass the plasterboard through, obviously. So we stored all the plasterboard out on the drive. Thankfully it wasn't raining, and that was just sound block plasterboard. Just worked out the surface area of the room, and then we just picked up whatever we needed to do that. We got it delivered straight to home, which was really convenient. So you don't have to go and pick it up or anything like that if you don't have a vehicle. I don't have a vehicle where you can go and pick up a load of plasterboards. just went round, sealed all the room off, tried to make sure, spent a fair bit of time on making sure the joins were really tight, because that again is where potential sound can leak through. I mean, the soundboard on its own, I know of situations where people have put just this soundboard almost like spray adhesive the back of it and just put it up onto like a party wall, and it's knocked off a load of noise straight away. So I mean, it does a really good job on its own, with the timber structure there, with all the insulation in it being separated from the outer wall. I wanted to put a window in just so we have a bit of like natural light during the day, otherwise it could get pretty dark and dingy in here. I went for a dark colour, but it can get pretty dark and dingy, so if you can think about a window, it will compromise some of the sound properties, but some of the windows now are really good, really efficient at not leaking any sound when they're shut. So yeah, just do a little bit of research on which windows you want to have in there. I've just got a twist and tilt window, and that's perfect so that I can open the external window if I want to get some air in. It then just got plastered, which is very easy. I was going to tape and join it, but plastering is an extra way to seal off all those gaps. And yeah, just painted it. Carpet was all done pretty cheaply on tiles, like just carpet tiles, and then I put just a nice rug in here to try and deaden some of the reflections in the room. All told, it took about 18 months to get it done, because I work away from home on site quite a lot as an AV technician. That's what I do as a full-time job. Yeah, so I was in and out of here a fair bit, and it was mostly on weekends, and inevitably in the event industry, work goes over the weekends quite a lot. So, I mean, time actually working on it, probably a couple of months. Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. It's given us way more use out of this room than we would have had if we didn't do it. And it keeps all this stuff out of the main house. Super secure as well. So yeah, I'd recommend doing it. Cheers.